Welcome, everyone. We are here today to talk about Claude and give you an idea of Claude, how to use Claude, and a little bit of how it compares to other products. So I'm gonna get started, and I'll share with you some information about us, about what we're gonna learn, and then at the end we'll have some questions. Quick, you should be able to see my screen and should be able to see the agenda. Part of this presentation is introduction to Claude. If you haven't used Claude, what is Claude? This is a top-level discussion. You'll get a chance to see the interface, how the interface works, how to get the most out of this, and kind of quick tips and tricks we have in regards to specifically Claude. And before I jump into this, a little bit about us. My name is Peter Robert. I'm the CEO with Expert Computer Solutions. We've been providing IT support business to business for now over 20 years. Personally, I have been involved in AI since, AI just was on the horizon for over the last 3 years. I've used ChatGPT, I use Claude, I use Copilot, I use Grok, and I do these presentations for our clients and other companies where we teach them about different AIs and AI policy and all the things that how to manage this new change that is coming up. With me on the phone is Amy, and is part of our marketing team. She helps making sure we have all of this content put together for you guys and do any follow-up we need to do. With that in mind, let's jump in. So we mentioned that this presentation is on Claude, but Claude isn't the only AI out there. So why should you choose Claude? What are some of the things that it does better than other AI platforms? Well, if you have Copilot, the main advantage of Copilot, it actually, if you guys are using Microsoft 365, it already integrates into all of your data. You don't have to do anything special to embed it. You have access to all of it right there. Also, it has access to ChatGPT and Claude, but that's a different conversation. If you need ChatGPT is great at brainstorming, at drafts, at analytics. It is, I would say, the most similar to Claude with some key differences. And then if you are choosing to use Claude, well, if you're choosing to use Claude, it's because you've seen the answers that it's giving you. It's kind of like a daily worker, if I was to describe it. It allows you to do repeatable tasks. It is fairly quick in its replies, and it gives you information that is quickly and easily in a format that works well for a lot of people. Also, this is not part of this presentation, but if you ever get into vibe coding, Claude Code and Claude Cowork, it's a very, very powerful products for you guys to talk about. We'll mention them briefly on this call as well. So how do you log into Claude? Well, you have multiple different ways to use Claude. The first way that you can use it is by going to claude.ai, and then you log in via your email address that you put in here. Now, this presentation is really geared towards business, so a couple of disclaimers here. Make sure you're using your company email address, and if you are using Claude, make sure you're using a Teams or a business account, and that's been properly set up by your IT department or your IT company. How else to log into Claude? You have your Claude desktop app that you could install. Some of the functionality that you guys may want to have is only available via desktop app. Some of the functionality is available using the website, which is the Claude.ai that we've talked about just a minute ago. Also, while I'm not covering this in this meeting in detail, you could also use Claude on your phone, but that's kind of somewhat of a different discussion. Once you log into Claude, this is the interface that you are going to see in Claude. And I'm going to go through this interface somewhat in detail just to get you guys familiar with it and how to use it. There is the prompt box that's in the middle. This is where you put in all of your prompts. This is where you're asking questions of, can you help me with the report? I need to do research on this particular topic. This is, all of that happens right here. At the top over here, you have incognito chat. So one thing to note that every chat that you put in is going to be saved in your history of chats. If you ever want a chat that isn't saved into history and isn't referenced, then you want to use an incognito chat. It's kind of a chat that's a one-time chat that disappears once you're done. On this side, you have different options, such as new chat, if you want to open up a brand new chat, search, if you want to search for your past chats, customize to put in your preferences. We'll talk about that in more detail. And then artifacts, if you create different artifacts or documents that you could reference in the future as you do more chats and you interact with it. Now, again, at the bottom over here, you will see that it says what account you're connected to. It is really important to understand with Claude, you could have a personal account and you could have your company workspace account. If you are using company data, please refer to your AI policy and make sure you're using the work company account and not a personal account in here. Once you start actually using chats, these are the things that are going to be really important to you. The first one is the plus button. The plus button is how you could add documents, Word, Excel, PDF files that are to the chats so that Claude can analyze those documents, change those documents, or give you information about those documents. Then you have your mode selector. We'll go over that in more detail, but your mode selector is switches between how deeply Claude thinks about an issue or question or your request, whether that's a very surface level or whether that's your little PhD researcher doing its research. And then you have your voice icon button if you prefer to type or chat like we are talking right now and get your questions answered like that. With some more about shortcuts and app interfaces. So when you are using this, you can, in the Claude app interface, which is a little bit different than the web interface, you're going to have 3 different tabs on here: chat, co-work, and code. And chat is just, your simple chat where you're doing the chats that we described. Co-work. So co-work is almost like a separate functionality within Claude Code. When you use Claude Co-work, and this is installed in the app that you install on your computer, you're able to reference where does the Claude Co-work work from and point it to a specific folder on your computer. Then the information that you're asking about is asked about the files in that folder. And you can ask Claude Co-work to analyze the files, change the files, create brand new files. And all of that is going to be done inside this folder. In this particular case, if you have a specific project you're working on, a specific set of files, and you want them to be organized or changed or updated or sorted, you could do that using Claude Co-work. Claude Code. So Claude Code is probably one of the most powerful functionalities of Claude and why people choose Claude in the first place. I'll give you an example. We're going to have a different session about vibe coding. And vibe coding is where basically, if you have an idea of to create something, you no longer need a development team to go in and create everything for you. You could just ask AI, I would like to have a website that collects this information and for all of my, gives my prospects these 3 options to choose from, and then they're going to have this nice little report done. And all of that can be accomplished via Claude Code. Claude Code is built into the app version. There's some more things to understand about that, but so you guys know, initially, it is a very, very powerful feature why people choose Claude, because this is one of the leaders of AI because of Claude Code. So now that we talked about all the different modes or different ways to use Claude and what you could do, let's talk about different models. So models are, they're like your research or intern assistants. You have your intern assistant who's super fast, that gives you results right away, but they're very generistic. They're very general, they're very quick, they're very top level. Then you have someone that is a little bit faster, that does a little bit more deeper digging in. And then you have your, every one of you guys probably has this employee, your PhD, the industry expert. They can deliver specific information about the topics, analyze things in very much details, and give you a very detailed answers. Now in Claude, these are the modes that you select in the system, or the models. You have your Haiku. This is your super quick guy, instant answers, but they're very generic. You have the Sonnet, a little bit more deeper. Then you have the Opus. Opus is the leader in deep analysis and research. Now, important things to keep in mind here is that each one of these has a consumption rate that Claude uses. If you use Opus, you are consuming their tokens. And based on the plan that you select, you may run out of your consumption, and you either have to purchase more or you have to wait a little bit amount of time before you could use it again. Now, how do you get the best answers out of your AI? And this isn't Claude specific, but in Claude it works really, really well. Now, to get the best answer, you should use the goal, context, action, and output format framework, or GCAO framework. What is that? Now, the framework is very simple. First, you set up a goal in your prompt. This is how you structure your prompt. Your goal is, what are you trying to achieve? Then you describe your context. What does Claude need to know so that it gives you the best results? What is your data? Then action. What should Claude actually do? Do you want to create an Excel file? Do you want it to give you an answer in bullet format? Do you want to have top scheduled risks? And then the output format. How should the result look like? One page, your entire book. You have I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but you get the idea. You get to specify what the output looks like. Now, if you don't do this and you have just a general question, you're going to get a general answer that may not be what you're looking for, or maybe a little bit like what you're looking for. But if you do this, you're going to see that the answers that you get are going to be very specific, very targeted, and much likely to give you answers on your first try, or much quicker than otherwise. Personalization and profiles. So in Claude, and this is in every AI that's out there, what you will notice, if you don't have any personalization, the system is going to default initially to A, telling you how great of a job and great of an answer or a question you're asking every single time. Number two, it will be somewhat generic in the answers that it gives you. The more you personalize something and say who you are an assistant, are you a CEO, are you a project manager, what is your job role, who do you work for? By providing this information, AI treats this part of every question that you answer and can custom tailor the answers to better fit the information that you're looking for. The more you provide of what the personalization is, what the tone is, what are the questions in your that you have, the better answers you're going to get that are going to help you personally. Using extended thinking. So in Claude, you could specify what are you going to get an answer quick, or you want to get an answer that takes a little bit more time to process. So let's say you are looking through a report that you need to analyze, and you needed to reference every single time this particular question is being asked and calculate or give you some industry analysis on it. If you use extended thinking, you're telling the system that take a little bit longer, analyze it in detail, give me better information. If you don't, sometimes the system is very top level, and it also impacts the model or the mode that you're selecting over here. If it's top level and if it's quick, you may not go in and find every single time something is being asked. If you're very specific on your questions and logic, then you're going to get more detailed and analytical results from what you are asking about. Web search and vision. So this is another capability of Claude that you should be aware of. Web search is pretty simple. It could search. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. All AIs are, or most of them, are large language models. So they have a database worth of information that they have collected, usually by indexing and searching different websites and having the vendor collect all the information and putting it into a central database. If we don't use web search, that the information that you're getting answers on is not current. It could be from 2025, it could be from last year, for whatever period of time that it could be. If you use web search, you're now saying, okay, you have a database of answers, but I want you to search for current information that's out there to get information that is relevant to right now. That is web search. Vision. Vision is ability of Claude and other AIs to take information from a picture and actually scan it like a person and look at it and translate that into real results. Give you an example. My wife, she's helping our kids. Sometimes she needs to check their homework. So instead of calculating and writing down the math equations on a piece of paper, she takes a picture, she uses AI and says, okay, tell me, is this answer correct? Is this not? Why? Now, I'm not going to tell you this is right 100% of the time, but 90% of the time, it could scan and read and analyze and give you an answer of what it is just by analyzing the picture. No need to type, no need to do anything else. And you could do that for a variety of different use cases. Working with projects. So the first thing I want to explain to you is what is a project inside AI. By default, when you are asking questions within AI, whether that Claude or something else, it's going to reference either your past chats or it's going to reference web search, if we're talking about web search, to try to get an answer. Now, in certain cases, if you're on a project, you only wanted to ask information about a specific set of documents. Now, you could either upload those documents via the plus button and ask them in the chat. But if you have multiple different chats on the same topic and the same projects, you actually create a project. And then you attach your Excel, Word files. You could do zip files, though that's not as recommended. And then you could ask a set of questions on that project. So it allows multiple people to ask a set of questions on a specific set of data. And you can specify whether it should also use the internet or not, but based on only that data. This is a very, very powerful feature to get information out quickly out of projects that you have access to. Skills. So skills is another really powerful feature specifically developed by Claude, but I'm now seeing it in other AIs as well. And skills is the ability to build repeatable tasks that you could do over and over again via a skill. So it's something that you would do, let's say it's scan a document, format it, create a new Excel spreadsheet based on this document, something that is very repetitive to you. If you develop or create a skill, you're teaching AI how to do this repeatable task. Once you created a skill, you could now just reference that skill the next time you want to do it to have predictable, reliable results. If you don't create a skill and you just ask AI to do something, well, you'll notice that is one time it does it one way, one time it does it a different way. So it's like having, within your team members, if you don't give them exact instructions, they are not going to do the same work the same way every single time. By creating a skill, you're making sure that is done the same way every single time. And creating a skill isn't difficult. It may look a little bit overwhelming, but Claude guides you through the process of what you need to do by creating it. If you want to use some templates or samples and specify a prompt, the more specific you are in here, the better results that you'll receive. So, kind of summary of key takeaways. We talked about when to use Claude, when to use ChatGPT, when to use Copilot. I think with Claude, a lot of the things works really good. If it's kind of like your reliable intern that you wanted to do the same work, you wanted to have quick, simple results, or if you want to dive into Claude Code or Claude Cowork to work on your files, you can accomplish a lot of things using Claude. So now that I've went over all the details of Claude, if you guys are interested to have more information, whether that is this presentation or other presentations that we have and our framework for using AI, scan this QR code, and you could download the checklist specifically for you guys for what we've built for other companies like yours. Now, if you are, we have a lot of these webinars coming out. We have one on vibe coding. We had one on ChatGPT. We have one on Copilot. And what our specialty is, this is a quick plug for ourselves. We specialize in helping your business be secure. We can help you audit your environment if AI is being used safely. We can help you with your AI policy, how your team is using AI, and we can apply cybersecurity protection for you guys to make sure you guys are protected. If you like this content like this, we have series on our website. You can visit us, www.ecsoffice.com/newsroom, or send us an email, sales@ecsoffice.com. We are happy to help you and answer any questions that you may have, or help you with your other IT needs. Quick set of frequently asked questions. Is Claude free to use? While they do have a free tier, for business purposes, we do not recommend it. On the free tier, your data is shared and digested and may end up being on the internet. So we recommend the Pro plan or the Teams plan, depends on what you want to do. Is your data safe with Claude? It depends. It depends on a lot of things. One is, did you do your security due diligence? Do you have multi-factor authentication? Do you have a business account? Do I need to be technical to use Claude? Not at all. Anyone can use it. Can Claude work with my existing files? Yes, PDF files, Word files, Excel files, images, and many more different file formats. What are the best use cases for business owners? So my recommendation to you guys is just start. Get a good prompt and start asking questions and start seeing how it can help you do your job faster and get your answers quicker. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you guys and have a great rest of the day.